What is up, and welcome to another episode of the All Basketball Podcast on October 26th. And it's that time of year not just for more basketball than the NBA, but high school basketball is right around the corner. And to start off this preview edition, we got Coach Rory Welsh entering his 11th season at Langston Hughes, talking with me today on the All Basketball Podcast about the upcoming 22-23 high school basketball season here in the Atlanta metro area and Langston Hughes specifically on the south side of Atlanta. I want to put it like that. But Coach Welsh, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing?
Hey, appreciate you having me on, man. I'm doing well. Life is good. We're back in the gym, so I'm loving life right now. Loving life right now.
Definitely good time of the year, even though the weather is getting a little chillier, but that just means it's basketball season.
Yeah, it's been a little schizophrenic because it got cold last week, and then on Monday we hit 70 degrees. So I don't know, man. I'm good either way. We're gonna be in the gym, doing what we got to do. So I'm excited that it's here.
Definitely. Well, first question I want to ask you, just tell me a little bit about the new team. I know you had some guys departing, some experienced guys, but new season, new team.
Yeah.
What are your expectations? Tell me about some of the guys.
So we lost I think five seniors from last year's team. Good group of kids, that 2022 squad. And so we returned 7 or 8 guys from last year's team. We were Final Four team last year in the 6A classification. So we bring back a good bulk of that group. And we feel really, really strong about that veteran experience that that group is bringing back to the table. We got our starting point guard returning, Randy Latham, who's a 6'1", explosive athlete of a PG, a natural PG, who can run your offense and guard 94 feet. We think he's going to have a hell of a senior year. Think he's going to really, really be in contention for Region Player of the Year. We got a kid, John McQueen, who was probably a part-time starter for us last year as a sophomore. This year as a junior. We're expecting him to take steps, kind of trending up and being an all-state level player. He's a 6'5" wing that can guard and can score and can play on the perimeter and play in the mid-range. He can score in the box. I mean, he's a pretty diverse player. Pretty much has established himself as a Division I recruit. And we got a couple big guys coming back that are on our football team too. So we got Tank Thurman, who's our starting center. He's about 6'7", 220. He's an Ohio State commit. He's going to play football and basketball at Ohio State next year. Our football team is ranked number 1 in the state and top 25 in the country. So we probably won't get him, as well as Bo Hughley, our backup center, who's about 6'7", 260. He's going to UGA. So we'll get them guys in December after they hopefully, win that last game of the season. And got a couple new guys we're very excited about. A couple new guys. Kid named Jalen Colbert. He's a 6'6", 6'7" power forward. One hell of a defender, big time motor, can guard 1 through 5. Very athletic, and it's surprising me more and more every day. We've only had our 3rd practice of the season this morning, and he's just surprising me more and more every day with what he can do offensively. So really excited about him. And then we have another kid who's about 6'6", 6'7", named Hassan Diallo, who's a very versatile forward. He can play big forward. He can play small forward. He can guard, showing me he can guard on the perimeter as well as on the box. So we're really, really excited about him. Really high IQ guy too, can pass the ball, can do some things with the ball in his hands. So we had a really big, physical, athletic team. And, our preseason meeting, man, we had already established what the expectation was. We got a few goals, and one of them is to win the region championship, the regular season region title, as well as the region tournament. And we feel like we can play deep into the state playoffs. We want to play into late February, early March. That's the expectation for this crew. So all the coaches are geeked up, and the kids are as well. So, that's kind of what we're trending towards the season.
Definitely got a lot of length there from description. So that's always good. Still a tall man's game.
Yes, it is. This is the biggest team I've ever had.
Oh,
literally, we have 6 kids that are between 6'5" to 6'7". I mean, we're huge, and the good thing about it is there's some versatile pieces in there as well. they're not all just, pigeonhole, post guys. They can play on the perimeter. They can play multiple positions along the front line. And we're excited about experimenting with, all this length and size and trying to figure out ways to use it to our advantage.
Definitely. Speaking of that length and size, I know you always want to have that on the basketball team, but I wanted to get your uh, what goes into you putting together a team and where does that come from? I know you obviously want to get the best you can get, but what are certain intangibles you look for and everything, just what goes into it and where do you kind of get that from as far as picking or selecting a team?
Yeah, so the first thing is, we got to have guys with an extensive basketball experience leading up to high school. Like it's hard to get a kid in high school who's never played competitively leading up to this point and expecting them to be able to contribute on the varsity level. And I'll be honest, I tell people all the time, high school basketball is really and truly about varsity basketball. I'm just going to state blatantly what it is. We have our sub-varsity teams, but the truth of the matter is we're only going to get probably 20% of those sub-varsity players that matriculate to the varsity team. It's just how difficult it is. I mean, we have 1,100 boys at Langston Hughes High School, and out of them 1,100 boys, all of them think they can start on varsity, but that's not, the truth of the matter. So you're looking for kids that have experience, that can dribble, pass, and shoot, and that can guard, that know how to guard, that have sound fundamentals. And then, once you kind of cross that hurdle, now you're definitely looking at all those intangibles, athleticism, height, length, size in general, and size for their position. So, you definitely want a kid that can play, that has some, level of experience and sound fundamentals. And then you're looking at, if you got multiple guys like that, all right, which ones bring the intangibles to the table? So, yeah, you're looking at, at a variety of different things, when you're piecing it together. But, the talent and the know-how are the two biggest things that stick out when you start trying to piece this thing together.
Yeah, because just think about when I played, I only played a year of varsity, didn't play much, but it seemed like our team, we had got a new coach, and then we had kind of inherited the guys from the previous season. Some of those guys didn't play, but I know one guy, a couple of guys in particular, but they stepped up, and then it was kind of like more of we got a good amount of role players, and I guess what coach thought would be back of really played, but so many people, like it wasn't the starters pretty much had I mean, now when I watch, I see guys make a mistake. They come out on some teams, but then it was like those guys had so much rope because there was no trust in the guys coming behind them. We just I just wasn't ready, but and it just always you're around the guys, the boys talking like, man, how did you make the team? But you can play so well, but maybe you didn't fit into the coaching style, or you can't have it's only one ball and five guys on the court. So you can't just have everybody out there looking to score. You got to have a balance on both ends. So it just seems like a tedious process. I mean,
and speaking on that, like, okay, for instance, you may have multiple guys, that are almost equal in skill level or very, close. And then you have to look at what's best for the program. Like, okay, right now, I'm never, I'll never dress 4 point guards on varsity. Like, that doesn't make sense to dress 4 point guards. So if one of those point guards is an underclassman, if he's a junior, sophomore, freshman, that fourth, if he's that, in that mix of that fourth point guard and the other 2 or 3 or maybe seniors, well, then what's best for the program is probably for that junior to play JV, because if he can't, get on the floor in a varsity game, then you have to start looking at what's best for his development, which is to actually play in games and be prepared and groomed for the next year where they potentially could be handed the keys to the offense. And we're kind of in that situation right now. I got a couple younger PGs, and one of them's a freshman who I think is going to be really, really good down the line. And another one's a junior. And just, we got, 2 senior point guards that, they've already earned their spot. I know what they're going to bring to the table every single day. And then with those other 2 guys, those are more or less, there are a lot of question marks in there. And so what's best for the program is to let these seniors rock out and these underclassmen to learn and observe, and they still practice with us though. So I still make them practice up, so that way when the opportunity presents itself, that it won't be foreign to them. So you're looking at what's best for the program holistically, especially like the next season. You got to keep this season definitely right in front of us. We're always right in front of us. Our next practice, our next game, but in the back of your mind as a coach and running a program, you have to also look at the following year. So yeah, a lot of stuff kind of goes into those decisions.
Okay. As far as last season, I did some research, saw you guys had a pretty balanced attack on offense according to your stats on Max Prep. So kind of gave me an idea of how the offense went, how you won games. I know you finished third in the region, but then you ended up making this run to the Final Four again. So just talk about what was that whole process like, and what do you hope to take from that into this season?
Yeah, so offensively, we did have some good balance, and we feel like we'll have a balanced attack this year. We think we know who our leading scorer is going to be. He'll probably end up being our three-man John McQueen. I mean, he can score the ball. He makes it look easy. I mean, if he can play kind of within what we do, we think he's going to probably lead the team in scoring. But we really and truly feel like, for us to be a good team year in, year out, we need at least three guys that can be teetering on that double-figure scoring mark. We want to at least try to get three guys, maybe even four guys, hovering right around that double-figure average, so that we do have a balanced attack. And our style of play is kind of conducive to that. Our offense, of course, we run our quick hitters and our set plays like everybody else, but our base offense is, I don't want to say it's an equal opportunity, but it's kind of like the flex, where, guys move positions and his body movement, player movement, ball movement. So you have opportunities to exploit mismatches and attack mismatches within the flow of what we're doing. And so I think that makes us a little bit harder to guard when we have multiple guys that can attack, out of our base or out of our quick hitters. And, it makes us a little bit more potent offensively. In regards to last year, we did finish third in the league, and we could end up finish first, second. We had a tough league, with Westlake and Tucker Tucker and then Westlake 1 and 2, and then we end up 3. Out of those, we had 4 losses to those teams, and out of those 4 losses, 3 of them came down to the last shot, basically. So, those could have went either way if we had, kind of closed things out a little stronger, and maybe we go in as a 1 or 2, to the state tournament. But those games prepared us. They did prepare us for the tournament, and we played our best when it counted most, which is in the state tournament. And that's usually, I'm not gonna say that's usually, that's always our goal, is when we get to the state tournament, we want to be hitting on all cylinders. Whether we lost some tight ones, last year we lost 5 games at the buzzer, literally, like on defense, we holding the lead, other team made a tough shot. I can name off the games off the top of my head. I mean, literally we lost, 5 games like that. So we could have easily been a 22-win team, 23 win. I think we had 19 wins. We probably could have been a 24-win team, if we had not, lost some of those games at the buzzer to some good teams as well. So I tip my hat to those coaches, those players that made crunch time plays. But we schedule hard, and you're not going to always win all those. We have a good team. We're going to schedule hard, and we did that. And, we use it as a learning experience to springboard us into the state playoffs. And luckily it paid off for us, because once we got to the playoffs, we were hitting on all cylinders. We had a very balanced attack, and we were able to kind of just advance round by round based off of everybody contributing. Because there's some games last year where, one guy leads us in scoring, and next night he might only have 2 points. And we have another game where a different guy led us in scoring. The next game he might only have 5 points. So that balanced attack allowed us to be very, very hard to guard.
Yeah, that's definitely what you want. If you don't mind, what was the game like? I know it was a neutral game against. I saw Grovetown beat you by 5 points. What specifically happened in that contest?
So that was a unique situation, because we actually played them earlier in the year. We beat them at the I don't want to say the Lake City Classic, because that'd be the wrong name. They're now at Marietta. So the guys, Coach Marcus Hood and Coach Estes, are now at Marietta High School, and they rebranded their tournament. They have the Lemon Street Classic, which was an awesome Christmas tournament last year with a very, very tough field. And so our first game of the Christmas tournament was versus Grovetown, and I had heard about them. and I knew they were good. And I remember when we were checking in for the first game, getting our team off the bus and checking into the event, they were right in front of us. And I'm looking at them like, oh, these dudes are massive. This is a huge, we're about to be in a dogfight right here. Like, okay, strap it on. These some big dudes. And hey, man, I think they got a little squad. So anyway, we ended up beating them in the Christmas tournament by a handful of points, 4 or 5 points, maybe 3 or 4 points, whatever. Tough game, very tough game. In a come from behind win. And then we ended up meeting them in the Final Four. And we knew that we probably would have to go through them again in order to try to, win a state championship. And so in that game, on the neutral site at West Georgia, they got off to a big lead on us. It was kind of nip and tuck at first. In the second quarter, they extended their lead. I want to say they might have had like a 13-point lead at halftime or something like that, 12-point lead. And then in the second half, third quarter, a little nip and tuck, and then we came back and closed the gap. We got within 1 possession, literally. We were right there. We took the lead by 1 with about 2 minutes left, and we came right back down and gave up a bucket. And I'll be honest, I still have nightmares about that situation because I have kind of a formula I use in specific situations on how I use my timeouts, and I didn't use one when I thought I should have, simply because I was being a little indecisive about it. And I don't want to say that cost us the game, but Grovetown took the game from us, made plays, they made free throws. So we missed 4 free throws under the 2-minute mark, and we didn't guard well. So we ended up losing by 2 or 3, whatever it was. We had opportunities to win that game, but Grovetown was the better team on that day. So let's just say we're very optimistic and very excited about potentially playing them again this year in the state playoffs.
Okay. And as far as I guess early on the schedule, but obviously well before we get to the playoffs, the region, how are you eyeing the region, seeing some of the competition? What have you heard? Or
Yeah, so we're in a new region. Some teams we have never played before, and some teams that we were in regions with previous years. So we know Alexander's going to be pretty good. They'll probably be top 5 ranked team in the state there in our region. We've heard things about Noonan, piecing together a really good squad this year on the hoop side. So we're expecting them to be a top contender. And I'm really not familiar with the other schools in Paulding County. South Paulding has been in our region before. Coach Gil Davis does a great job with that group. And we've had some battles, over the years when we were in the regions together before in previous years. So I know they'll be coached up and dialed in. And there's a few new coaches in GHSA in our region. There's a Coach Martin over at New Manchester, who was an assistant at Alexander. I'm sure he's going to be, juiced up to have his kids rolling in his new program. And we got East Paulding, and we also have Paulding County. So, we're excited. We're excited. Regions change, every few years, and it's a new challenge, and we get into going to some new places and some foreign territory and try to, do what we do. So I really feel like we have a chance still to potentially win the league and win the region tournament. And that's our goal this particular year. That's not our goal every year, but this particular year, that's our goal.
okay. And what about outside the region? You always play season gets started and you got like Thanksgiving tournaments, Christmas tournament.
Yeah.
I know you got something lined up for the guys. What specifically are those places or some teams?
Yeah. So we usually go to Holiday Hoopsgiving every year. It's one of the best events in the country. It'll be at Shiloh. We're playing Meadow Creek High School 7A team out of Gwinnett, out of the Norcross area. So we'll be playing them. Our very first game of the year will be at the Powder Springs Tip-Off Classic, which is a new event, which will be at Hillgrove. It's something that Coach Greg Moultrie put together since taking the job over there, and it's an unbelievable field. Etowah, Wheeler, Pace, Alexander, Archer. This is really good, tough, competitive field. So our game is versus McDonough. We'll be playing McDonough the first game of the year in the Powder Springs Tip-Off Classic, and they have a very good team. They're returning a bulk of their players from last year's team. I believe they made it to the Final Four or Elite 8 of the 5A classification. So we're excited. We're excited to get started with a very tough opponent and see where we're at, So we'll play in those two events to start the year. We'll go down to Columbus and play in the Columbus Classic. George Williams is an old buddy of mine, and one of my mentors, one of my OGs. He has an event down there every year, and we'll go down there and play every year if we can. We'll be playing Spencer High School out of Columbus, who has a really good team. They won the state championship, I believe, 2 years ago, or last year. Was it last year, maybe? 2 years ago, 4A. So they got a good squad. Then after that, we'll be returning, and we'll play. I want to say we got a region game once we get back from that. I think our first region game is versus New Manchester. So, yeah, we'll open up the slate with that. We also have Pace Academy on the schedule, playing in the Playing for a Change event at Pace Academy that Coach Sharman White hosts and put together. We'll also be playing Grayson at their event in the Grayson New Year's Classic, which will be around the first of the year. And then we'll also play we got Tucker, the first week of Thanksgiving at the Tournament of Champions at Wheeler High School. So, yeah, we got some good stuff on the non-region schedule, and some competitive, tough games, and hopefully those will propel us to play better into the late half of the region and into the region tournament.
Yeah, you want that good foundation, good competition is always good experience. One thing that's definitely changed this year. It seems like yesterday was actually 2 years ago when you got things going as far as spearheaded the shot clock coming to here in Georgia in 2020. Now it's 22, 23. It's mandatory in all gyms. In the playoffs, it's no switching back and forth.
Yeah.
So we got a full season of shot clock play here in Georgia, thankfully. How are you approaching that, getting your guys ready for that, or is it just?
Yeah, it's some fun, it just adds another element to prepare for. It's just, there's so many different things you can do with it, from trying to take an advantage, trying to gain an advantage, things you have to be prepared for, late clock situation, in the game situations. So, you have to think outside the box as a coach and, be prepared, have your team prepared to thrive in them situations versus the shot clock and an opponent. So, we've been experimenting with here for the last, since I started working on that proposal, 3-4 years ago. So, my guys are kind of accustomed to it. We broke it out today. We didn't kind of get to it, but tomorrow will be a day we really start to use it. And, we've touched on it, and we have some goals that we want to use in terms of like forcing, shot clock violations on the other squad. Like we said, we want to be able to force 2 shot clock violations every game. At least one in the first half, one in the second half, just based off what we're doing defensively, really barreling down. So that's the one thing it does too, that, it's not just the pressure it puts on the offense, but it's really how you can reward your defense for sitting down and guarding for 35 seconds. In years previous, you sit down and guard for 25, 35, and the team back the ball out to half court and hold it and stall. Now you then took all the wind out the defense. The defense is like, damn, we done did all this work, and then I'm just going to hold the ball. Like, so ain't no more of that. The defense will get rewarded for guarding hard, and the offense, has an advantage as well because, you can dial things up versus the shot clock, and, you can use the clock, kind of as a beacon for when you want to do certain things. So there's a lot of experimentation that will go into it for us, especially, and I'm sure the rest of the coaches here in the state.
Yeah, so it's going to be 30 or 35 seconds.
35.
35. And offensive rebounds, it'll just reset to 35 again. It's not going to be shorter.
Offensive rebounds will reset to 25.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not sure if you know this guy. I know he appears on this radio show I listen to, Sports Roundtable. Derek Williams, he's out of Alabama. He spent some time here. They call him D. Will. He's eyeball radio, ring a bell.
No.
But I know he's heavy on hoops in Alabama.
Okay.
But he and I think I signed it. He sent out a proposal. I think he mentioned you, or he talked about, because the show is based here in Georgia.
Okay.
So he talked about, this was a while ago, getting one in Alabama, and he was telling people to go and fill out that form or whatever you had to fill out to get it going. So we see that what you're doing is kind of affecting a neighboring state. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I haven't looked up the count of where we are in the nation, but I know I'm pretty sure some other teams want to want to have shot clocks in high school as well. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had numerous coaches from around the Southeast, especially, and as far as Chicago, reach out to get information on what we did here to get it passed in Georgia. And I shared my information. I shared my proposal with them and dialogued with them and gave them pointers. And coaches from South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Illinois. So I've had a ton of coaches contact me um, and just try to gauge how they could get it done and want some constructive feedback on what their proposal should look like and how we did it in our state. So I'm excited that it's kind of spread and more coaches around the country are realizing that they can play a part in getting it approved in their state, if they just go about it the correct way. So I'm just trying to help those coaches out best I can because I really think it's good for the game. That's where the game is at right now. And it's good for the players. It's good for the players, good for the coaches. And most important, it's good for the fans. There's not one fan that pays money to go to a game that wants to sit there and watch stall ball. I'm sorry. That's just a slap in the face to somebody that just paid their money to come in there. Not only paid their money, but got in their car and drove to your gym. And, coach is sitting there holding the ball. It's ridiculous. If you're going to lose, just lose, man. Play. Let your kids play, man. Let your kids play. Don't hold the ball. So I'm glad that our state was all for it, and I'm excited to see how it kind of comes to fruition this year.
yes, definitely gonna be good to see wherever I'm able to get out to and check out a few games. But as far as next level, I know yeah, obviously have some guys, any guys on the who just graduated, started picking up a ball and still playing in college. I know I just saw that Nolly, your championship two-time champion there, he's in Cincinnati now. So
Mhm.
and any other guys you want to speak of or where they
Yeah,
at in?
yeah, all my dudes, man. I love my dudes, man. All my guys that played for me, all my alums. We got, of course, Landers at Cincinnati. Tyrell Morgan, who's my dude, man. They snubbed him on Region Player of the Year in 2019, but that kid had one hell of a senior year for us. Ended up being a junior college All-American, and now he's at Texas State. He's in there fighting for a starting job at Texas State for Coach Johnson, and he's doing a hell of a job there so far, and they have a really good team. They've won 20 games the last 2 years in a row. So really excited to see Tyrell this year. My other main guy, Josh Butts, he's playing up at Carson Newman in Tennessee, a Division II school. So I'm excited to go catch him. We got PJ Carter, who had went up to Campbell, a Division I school, and now is transferred to the junior college ranks and trying to reestablish himself. So he'll be right here at Georgia Highlands. So excited to see how he does this year. Tyler Smith, who was a state champion for us in 2018, he's playing at Reinhardt. It's his senior year. So excited to see that young man do his thing. So, Kason Jennings, my PG, my big, strong, athletic PG. He's playing PG and playing a little off ball at Kennesaw State at the 2 position for Amir. And, Amir's been bragging on him heavy every time I talk to Amir. He's just like, man, this kid's coming along. He looks like a grown man. He's, really developing. So I'm excited to see how Kason does this year. So we got a handful of guys, that are playing competitively, that are still getting after it. And excited to see them guys, just continue their dream and using the basketball to their advantage and not letting the game use them. That's the main thing. You get an opportunity to do that, and go to the next level and get scholarship dollars is extremely important, and to use that to your advantage and not let it use you. So yeah, I'm happy for all those kids.
Yeah, sounds good. Quite a slate of guys that playing. That's always good.
Yeah,
Shows that
yeah.
talent and they've they're not just they're capitalizing on that talent that they have,
No doubt, no doubt.
which is always good. Those are
Oh, I
specific.
can't forget about, oh, my bad. I
Oh,
can't forget about my boy Tim James Jr. From last year's team. He's a freshman at McLennan Community College out in Waco,
okay,
playing JUCO ball, man. And Kobe Davis, he's playing junior college ball out in Kansas. So
okay.
he's really, really excited for them 2 young fellas as well. So yeah, we got a host of guys still hooping. And hey, we welcome them back with open arms all the time, all the time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But those are specific questions I have, Coach. Anything else you want to add before?
Just excited, just really excited about the season. Excited about, the opportunities that will present themselves, excited about, the roller coaster ride, because we all know coaching and being involved in a sport is not easy, and it's a task, but it's so much fun. There's so much excitement, and happy to be out the house. I got 3 little babies at the house, man. I got an 8-month-old, I got a 3-year-old, and I got a 5-year-old. So yeah, I'm excited. Basketball's here. Be in the gym a little bit. So yeah, man. Just really geeked up about this season. Really feel like we have a good team, and they're so coachable, and they play hard, and they're just soaking up stuff. I don't anticipate there being a lot of bumps in the road, like from being from a coachability standpoint. I just feel like, hey, we're just gonna go along for this ride and adjust as we go, and hey, take it as far as we can.
Yeah, sounds good. And congratulations on wow, you got 3 children. I remember when you had your first one. Maybe you told me about the other one, but congratulations on that. And the 8th one. Oh yeah, I'll be finally be joining the club, man. Early January be
Oh,
welcoming
my
little
brother,
boy. So
congratulations.
thank you, man. Yeah, so
Congratulations.
like
Yeah, it's real. It's about to get real for you.
yeah.
I thought it was real. I didn't know what I was thinking till it became real.
That's
Yes,
all I'm
sir.
hearing. Yeah, it's
Nothing like fatherhood, brother. You'll love it. You'll enjoy
yeah,
it.
appreciate that, coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a game changer.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Everything changes, brother. Everything.
Yeah, so but that's all I need, coach. I really appreciate you coming on again, man, and talking with me about the upcoming season. Hopefully I'll be able to catch a game, but we'll see how this thing goes with my life changing.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
how
You'll catch us on
adjustment.
TV. You'll catch us on TV, brother. It's all
Yeah.
good.
But good luck and help for your players. I'm just wishing this season another good season for you guys down in Langston Hughes.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time, Maurice. And hey, man, good luck to you and many blessings to you and your wife, man, with that new baby coming along, man. You're gonna be a hell of a dad.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. You
All
take it
right,
easy, my
coach.
brother.
You too. Take it easy.
All right.
And well, folks, that is another edition of the All Basketball Podcast, previewing the 22-23 high school basketball season. Once again, I'd like to thank 2-time state champion winning coach Rory Welsh from Langston Hughes for joining me to talk about the upcoming season. We wish him another successful season. And once again, you can find the All Basketball Podcast on YouTube or the listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple, and Google. I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. Remember to please subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you. Peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.